at Northeastern. How you doing? Matty Couchane here. Thanks again. Week 4. I just want to explain a little bit more about what the program is. Whether it's in school, outside of school, no matter where it is, everything is predicated on relationships, resources, and opportunities is how we run our nonprofit. And we believe that we need more valuable relationships with these kids for them to be successful. I just think that always everything is based off my experience and how I grew up. And I had a ton of relationships with adults who believed in me, and I believed in what they were saying, and I cared about myself, and it was really, really important. So the relationships, it could be at school. So the people at school are their friends, administration, the school resource officer, the teachers, whatever it is. So if a kid is not doing well in math, we reach out to the teacher, set up a meeting, figure out how we can get the kid back on track, or maybe they don't understand something. Teaching kids how to advocate for themselves, which is a huge thing that we're not so sure many kids know how to do these days, or not enough. So sitting down and talking, really humanizing everything is a major thing for us to do that everybody can relate to. So a kid isn't doing well in their math class. We sit down, we talk with the teacher, figure out a plan on how to make this kid successful. Of course, the end result, though, is always dependent on the kid and how much effort they put in, right? It can't be us doing all the work. The kid needs to put some work in themselves. With the community is something that we've really started to focus on in the past month or two. These students are 16 plus, most of them. So that is obviously a time to get a job. When you're 16 here, usually is when you start to get your part-time jobs. There is a difference, though. When I was getting my job, it was to buy a video game. For some of these kids, it's to help pay the rent or get food for their family or whatever the story is. So that need is very important. It's obviously somewhere where there's pressure on me, because I'm trying to not just affect the kid's life, I'm also trying to affect the family's life. So we're in contact with the family a lot. But how it all works is, with the community, getting a job for a kid, have to have a relationship. So there's a restaurant chain called Blake's. I walked in, met with their general manager, told them what we were doing, and built that relationship. With that relationship, then provides the resource. The resource would be for the kid to fill out the application, go through the interview process. That's the resource, and then ultimately the opportunity is for the kid to have a job. So a success story for this week is we built that relationship with Blake's. We provided the kid the resource to get the job interview, and the opportunity we found out on Friday was the kid was hired. So he's starting dishwashing, nothing glamorous, but it's how I started off when I was a kid too. So that is how the relationship, resources, and opportunity works, and you can hit it on everything, right? We built a relationship with Professor Jeff, provided us the resource to work with you guys, that built the opportunities for us to provide some more footage, and help get our story out there. That's something that took me, 10, 12 years to really feel comfortable with, because I wanted to have the backing. I wanted to be able to prove it. Data is important, but it's also, the stories and humanizing it, making it personal, which is really, really important to me. So, like we said, we have kids who are 22, 23, 24 years old right now, living on their own, being a productive member of society, being a taxpayer, and coming back and helping our kids, right? Most of our kids who are out of high school all want to come back and help out the other kids. And it's this long-term process that we've built. And yes, a kid may be failing as a sophomore and not have many credits to graduate, but that doesn't matter, because it's in the long term. And we've seen many kids who are getting straight Fs who have now become successful people and getting them jobs. And everything is through relationships, resources, and opportunities. The other thing that we want to hit on is respect builds trust, trust builds loyalty, right? So when you think about, what are our values, what are our beliefs, what are our missions, these relationships, resources, opportunities, and respect, trust, and loyalty are kind of how our program, not kind of, it's how our program is completely designed. And if you look in society right now here in America, and maybe too many places in the world too, it starts with respect. And one of the things that changed is you now have to earn your respect, right? Once again, when I was growing up, it was just respect all adults. And somehow that has changed, and you got to go earn your respect. And I think that's something that, a lot of people need to be thinking about. And it's just starting with teachers. Their job is way harder nowadays because they have to go earn that respect. And then it's trust, and you got to be willing to trust one another. Um, it's a huge component of what we do. An example that I can use of that is we are talking about a lot of, sometimes embarrassing or serious, or a kid is crying in class, and you have to have the trust of everybody involved in the classroom. When you do have that, amazing things can happen. We talk about a big thing. It's called ACE, ACE, but it's Adverse Childhood Experiences. For me to relate to these kids, because last year at West High School, I want to say 12 out of the 15 kids that we were working with did not either have a father or a mother, whether that meant they were actually have passed and were dead, or that they were in jail, or they just didn't see them. A lot of these kids only have a mother or a father raising them, or maybe a grandparent. And that's a hard thing. You need that support. You need that, safety net to fall back on. And a lot of these kids don't have that, and that's what we're kind of trying to fill in. So an adverse childhood experience for me was when I was 11 years old. My father died of a heart attack. He was in and out of jail. It was a tough situation. It could have steered me in the wrong direction, but like I've said numerous times, I had a ton of people who were in my corner who made sure that that didn't happen, and I became the successful person I am today. And most of that is because of the person I am and the lessons that I've learned. With that said, I had one or two adverse childhood experiences. The kids that we're working with have many more than that. And, it can be drugs, it can be, single parent, it can be a kid with special needs. Whatever the story is, think about bad things that can happen in your life, and those kids are going through that. Something that I'd like you to think about, because everything's personal, and I hope that you guys are invested in this program, and though you don't really know much about what we do and who we are, it's relating it to everybody in their lives. And something that most everybody can relate to is their experience growing up. And I would love for you guys to really think about how you grew up, and what were some of the obstacles that you faced. And that can be something that you guys can be doing in your videos, is talking about your lives and being personal. And everybody struggles, or most everybody. And if you're not struggling, I hope you feel very lucky, because life is tough and it gets harder. And growing up is supposed to be some of the best time of your lives, and unfortunately for some of our students, it's not. It's a really hard time, and they're not happy. I think there was a stat I heard the other day that suicide has now overtaken car accidents of cause of death for like 13 to 18-year-olds to 24-year-olds, something like that. And those are some things that you can also look up too. But I mean, these kids must feel so hopeless and feel that things aren't going to get any better to actually go through with something like that. And it's just a horrible story. The bullying just continues to happen. Once again, growing up, I was bullied, not much, but here and there I did some things, or some things kids could make fun of me for at my own cost. But I went home and it was gone, and I was just with my family. Nowadays, these kids aren't running home to go outside and play. They're running home and they're on their phones or their computers, and they're interacting, via Facebook or whatever they're doing, Instagrams, memes, all those things, and we're just looking to try to slow things down a little bit for these kids, tell them what's right and wrong in our eyes, and just continue to grow. The last point today, and then I'll let you guys go, and the most important thing is loyalty. And it's pretty impressive that for the past 12 years we've been working in such extreme circumstances with kids, and we're certainly walking on the line. We've never had a parent problem. We've never had a kid problem. We've never had a teacher problem. We've never had a family problem. And that is all because of loyalty. And what we do and how we do it is we immediately give everybody a respect. And we take some punches. And, maybe we don't get the respect back that we deserve right away, but we continue to build it, and we don't take things personal. And a kid might say something that they don't even mean, and we're fully aware of that. And it's just caring and believing is what this program's all about. And we believe that now for the past 10 years with our experience and our data and our stories that we want to get out there and tell, you know, more people about what we've done and how we've been successful. And we can start to trend better towards society, and we can get these kids to care and believe. But it's respect, trust, and loyalty. And we built that in the past 12 years. And I want you to focus on this thing this week, and I want you to focus on your experiences and make it personal to you. And with that said, in your class, you need to be showing respect, trust, and loyalty, because some people might have gone through things that you have no clue about. But you need to be there to be supportive and not to judge, and to try to help, right? And fix the problems at hand. And that is what we're all about. So I can't wait to see what you guys come out with, and we'll talk to you soon. Have a great week. Thanks.